Back to Open Line tonight. We are talking about the coronavirus as Nashville remains in phase 2 of the reopening plan. Dr. Alex Jahangir is my guest. Of course, you've seen him on many press conferences by now that we carry in the morning on here on News Channel 5. It's your opportunity to call in and ask him questions that have been burning in your brain for a while now. The number's at the bottom of the screen, 615-737+. We do have Ann on the line. Ann, thank you for being our first caller tonight. Go ahead with your question.
Yes. In the past, there's been a high number of cases found at the chicken place in Goodlettsville. There's right now an emphasis on our nursing homes and long care facility and those type of places. When those numbers come in, are those included in our daily numbers, or are those separate when it comes to our daily count? I look at the nursing home data and it doesn't look like we have that many, and I question the numbers and am wondering how the facilities are doing the testing, with the governor saying it's supposed to be every facility should have it done by the end of a certain date.
Sure.
So that's my question.
Okay, great questions. Thank you, Ann, so much. We appreciate your call tonight. Go ahead, Doctor.
Yeah, and thank you so much. That is a superb question. And to be honest with you, nursing homes from the beginning of this has been one of a few places that really has given me a lot of pause as I think through it. Because you're right, if a nursing home, if an infection becomes into a nursing home, as this virus typically impacts those who are older, it becomes a real big problem. So a couple of things regarding your question, because I think there's a few parts in there. First, the numbers that I report in the morning or that you see are the residents of the county is how we report that. So for example, if somebody were to get infected in Florida, but they live in Nashville, we get those numbers. Same thing with nursing homes. If nursing homes are within Davidson County, then they're residents of the county. If an employee of a nursing home, however, lives, let's say, in Wilson County, then Wilson County reports those numbers. So there's a little nuance there, but that's the way it stays consistent. To your point around nursing home and testing, the governor did, in fact, want all nursing homes tested, and the state, through whether it's the National Guard or locally, we've assisted them with our public health department. We're getting through a lot of them. I think, I don't know the exact number, but I know a large majority of them have been tested. I spoke with Commissioner Piercy this morning about nursing homes, actually, and you have to commend the governor for doing what, having the vision on the front end, say, listen, nursing homes are important. We're going to test them all. And so we have been lucky. I hate saying it that way. I mean, it's a lot of luck, but also a lot of planning. They quickly, while it's been really hard for those of us who have family members in nursing homes, they've shut down nursing homes quickly for visitors, they being the state. They've also been very vigilant in monitoring nursing homes and if they, testing regularly. So we have been lucky, but that luck also came with preparation. And so, I guess to your point, yes, their numbers are lower than what has been seen in other places in the country, but part of that's planning and part of that's luck. And there you go. Hope that answered your question, Ann. Thank you.
When do you think it's going to be okay to allow visitors in nursing homes again? This has been hard on families.
It has been really hard. And I'll tell you, I think my conversation with Commissioner Piercy, she and I had that discussion just today, and I think the state is working on a way to give people some more opportunity to see their family members soon. So I'll defer to the governor and his office for that. But I know the state recognizes, because these are regulated by the state. That's why I keep deferring to the state. I know they recognize how hard it's been, and I think they're coming up with a plan very soon that they'll announce around that.
And also talked about the places like the Tyson chicken plants and that such forth. We've had a few outbreaks there here in Middle Tennessee. Same deal with testing protocols. If somebody lives here and works at the plant, then it gets attributed to Davidson County. But if they live elsewhere, it gets attributed to that county, right?
That's exactly right. But I think what we discussed earlier about contact tracing, this is where it matters, right? So all of a sudden, let's say there's 10, 15 people that turned up positive, and our contact tracers called, and they're like, one of the questions is like, where do you work? And then they might have said, hey, I work at the Tyson plant, and I believe it's Goodlettsville. and then quickly the investigators connected those dots, and that might have initially led to people quickly investigating up there, and then talking to the employees there, and those that, let's say, live in Sumner County or other counties would be encouraged to be tested and other things. So that's why having a broad contact tracing unit like we do really helps contain what could be a potentially worse outbreak.
I know on top of a lot of people's minds, and I'm a parent, you're a parent, what's going to happen with schools? I know you're giving advice to our leaders locally. What can you tell us what you think is safe?
Well, what a great question, and one that I have spent a lot of time thinking, both, as you mentioned, both in my formal capacity, but also as a parent of a kid, a rising first grader, a rising second grader, and a rising fourth grader. Yeah. I've been really, I have co-chaired a committee with Dr. Battle of Nashville Public Schools that we're going to call the Nashville Plan, and tomorrow we're going to unveil this at 10:30. And it includes all the schools in Nashville and Davidson County, so not just the public schools, private, parochial, charter, as well as experts from both locally, both health experts, public health experts, and then including some national expertise. And we're going to present tomorrow a plan for Nashville that will, I think, serve as a great model for the different schools here and perhaps across the state. And I know the state's also working on a plan that they've released part of it, and I think they're releasing more of it over the next several days. So because you got to start, school's not that far away if you think about it, and
really
so
not.
both parents and educators have to start planning. And so, I think it's important, and I don't use the word new normal often, right? Because I think it's good, cliched, but there's a new normal, whether it's going to the grocery store, going to a restaurant, taking a trip, but also school. So I think parents should expect that if school goes back in the fall, which again, I feel optimistic that we can, it's not going to be the school that we all knew, and at least within reason, right? I mean, it's by that I mean maybe there's not going to be a bunch of parent nights and a bunch of other things, but the fundamental core value of all the benefits that school has for our kids, both educationally, socio-emotional, those things will still stay stable. And I think there's so many great educators I've met who will focus on that, but there is going to be a difference, and there's a certain amount of risk tolerance that I think parents will have to evaluate for themselves. And some parents are going to feel comfortable with it, and some won't. And I think I respect the parent's choice to choose what's best for his or her child, but there's going to be a little difference.
Yeah, I think that we're all starting to look ahead, and of course we all look through the glasses of our lives. Of I'm a parent, my husband's a small business owner, I have a typical go into an office kind of job. We all have our own lenses, but I think about looking ahead to fall, when the typical flu is usually a concern, and we're told to be cautious, and schools usually shut down for a couple of days, maybe a week sometime in the winter time. And now I think, gosh, we're going to couple that in with COVID-19. Are we all going to lose our minds and we just shut down everything again? How are you looking ahead to this as a doctor and a parent, and as a coronavirus task force chair?
Gosh, carefully.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we have, we're in a different place than we were in March, we being the whole city, right? I remember because this hit right before most places spring break, right? And so hospitals are scrambling, schools are scrambling, public health infrastructure is scrambling, businesses are scrambling. Because of all the hard work that Middle Tennessee has done to flatten the curve, it's brought us a lot of time to think and really be thoughtful about this. I mean, today Mayor Cooper announced every public school kid in Nashville is getting a computer, and those without internet access, which is 20%, by the way, are getting hotspot things. I mean, that could not have happened in March. Yeah. But Mayor Cooper and Dr. Battle really thought through that, and the council, and figured out how to make that happen. So now, if we did have to go back to where we were in March, at least now we're not going to have this inequity. And then we've now learned more about the virus. We've learned how to test more. We've learned there's so much more that I feel a lot more comfortable now than we did in March. Now, it doesn't say this thing's gone, but we're prepared, and preparedness will help us get to a good place where we can resume some normalcy of life.
How will you encourage people and guide people to kind of navigate the flu versus COVID-19?
Well, I, like a lot of people, are going to rely on a lot of experts. It is the flu-like illness really does look, the two are similar. So we're going to have to, first of all, want to encourage everyone to get vaccinated. It's something that we have not done as well as I think we could have in the past. So unless there's a counterindication, you should get the flu vaccine this year, okay? Because that's a vaccine we have. We don't have the COVID vaccine yet. So that's one way to mitigate flu. The great thing, if there's such a thing as great thing, is the same way you prevent flu is the same way you prevent COVID. So that'll help. And then be ready that there may be some expectations of as you mentioned, maybe shut down for a little bit and you do some other things. So I don't think you're off base. The flu-like and COVID-like symptoms are similar. You just have to mitigate that and test for them, and there you go.
I wonder if you all are getting a lot of calls from companies. We have some very large companies here. When you think of like Bridgestone, but I mean, even here at NewsChannel 5, we have about 150 employees. Right now within our station, we only probably have maybe 10 inside the building at most. And I know our leaders are grappling with when to bring everybody back. Are you getting calls from other companies saying, how should we do this and when?
Yeah. Many times a day, right? And companies from 150 employees to 10 employees to thousands. There's a program that I think Vanderbilt and the CVC, Convention Visitors Bureau, maybe the Chamber are involved with, called Good to Go. That can provide some guidance to the Department of Public Health. We've tried to do a lot of guidance. There's a task force that's really looking at best practices. If you look at our roadmap, we've now really broken down best practices, like 3 or 4 pages on a specific sector. So there's a lot of guidance out there, and I recommend your professional organizations nationally have a lot of great literature out there. So there's a lot of different information out there that one could get to. But you can always call us, and we could guide you as well. But we try to provide a lot of that online.
Perfect. Okay, we have to take another quick break. More questions when we come back.